pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you're not from the US, that's probably kind of strange for you to see. Now, imagine if I told you that I used to do this every morning before school. For an American, this is quite normal. This is what we're used to. This is what we grew up doing. But I know for people that are not from the US, there are quite some things in American culture that we have that it's quite strange. So stay tuned for this video for 15 things that I've identified foreigners find really strange within American culture. All right, now I'm gonna start off by talking about the dining culture here in the US. There's a couple of things I'm gonna group under in one, but I've learned since traveling and living in different places that there's a few things that we do when it comes to our dining culture that people find quite strange. For example, I'm out here for breakfast, and typically in the US, when you go out to eat, one of the first things they ask you is, what would you like to drink? So I ask for a water. In the US, if you ask for water or just any drink, quite frankly, it's gonna come with loads of ice. For me, this is always a normal thing, but after living abroad and traveling, I've learned that people think, why do you guys have so much ice with everything? It's not common. For example, in the Netherlands, if you ask for water, they're gonna bring you a cup, and they're gonna bring you a bottle of water, and you just pour that in, but no ice. The bottle will probably be cold, or it might just be room temperature, but you will never get all this ice in your drink. All right, so if you come and you eat in the US, I hope you have an appetite. Because here, the portion size is another thing that's quite strange for people. The amount that we eat compared to what they eat in other places is quite large.
Sir, have your breakfast?
Oh, thanks, sir.
You got your French toast. That's your scrambled eggs with all sausages and a side of the hash browns.
Thank you.
There's some hot sauce in there. All I'm missing is some syrup for you.
Okay.
There's anything else for you?
No, that's perfect.
Enjoy your breakfast.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. There you go. Now, while you're having all this good food, you might get a little thirsty. And today, I'm sticking with the water. But if you want a Coke, if you want a lemonade, you want a Sprite, go for it because we have free refills here. Get as much as you want. You will never have to worry about getting thirsty here in this country. Now, I'm already almost done here on my last plate. But if you happen to find yourself eating out here in the US and you get too full, don't you worry about that either. Because we have to-go boxes. You can just take your food home and enjoy it later. That's something that I haven't really seen in other places that I've traveled to or lived in. All right, so you had your good food and now you're done. And here comes the next part, which I'm sure you already know. But yes, in the US, after you eat and you pay, you gotta leave a tip. That's just custom here. I know it's not a thing in other places, but yeah, here, that's just part of the culture. Now, I just got my bill here. I'm gonna go up and pay and write in my tip. Probably leave a little extra because this guy was really nice and he was really cool in the video. But yeah, standard here in the US, if you leave a tip, it's at least 15 to 20% of your bill. Or even if you're at a bar and just going out for drinks, yeah, that as well, you gotta leave tips. In other industries as well, but for sure in the restaurant, dining industry, it's really custom to leave a tip. Now, after eating out here in the US, you're probably gonna have to go to the bathroom. And one of the things you're gonna encounter when you go to the bathroom here in the US, the infamous gap. Growing up for me, this was normal to see, but after traveling and living in different places, I learned that people think we're pretty weird for this. Now, something foreigners definitely find crazy about American culture is, yes, what you see behind me, the guns, the gun culture here in the US. With me here in California, with just having a valid ID, passing a background check, and being the legal age limit, I could go buy one of these guns right now. I don't know if these are shotguns or rifles. I don't really know much about guns, but yeah, it's quite a thing here in this country. I do find it personally kind of insane. If you're enjoying this video, please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe, and share with someone else you think you will enjoy it. Thank you. All right, another point I want to touch on in terms of what people find strange about the US is the patriotism that we exhibit in the country. You have a lot of Americans that are just very, very proud to be American and are very proud to show that to everybody else. And it was common for me growing up to see American flags in front of people's homes, but not just American flags, also people's political affiliations and everything, as you also see behind me. And I'm not judging it, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. This is very normal for me growing up to see, but I recognize not every country operates this way, And some people think we're very strange for this. And you know, tying with that last point, I feel like another thing that people typically find strange about the culture in the US is basically the whole frenzy around our politics. You know, I feel like people from the outside see just the whole frenzy around our political structure and our politics as just some big TV show. And you know what? It really is. You know, years leading up to an election, you have lots of commercials going out, you have all this drama, all these insults being thrown out, you have televised debates. It's just a very intense thing that's happening for years leading up to an election and even after an election. And you know, I feel like people from the outside see this as just some big crazy joke. But in the US, it's a really, really intense thing. And you know, for me, now that I lived in the Netherlands for the past 2 years, you know, I actually even experienced an election out there. And for me, it was very mind-blowing because it really just felt like a normal day. It felt like it's just another day. And obviously, I'm sure people were talking about the elections. There were discussions being had. But, you know, in general, it just felt like a regular day. Whereas in the US, when there's an election going on or any big political moment going on, like, you really feel it, you see it, you know it, like it's just being discussed and talked about, you know, for weeks or months or whatever. And yeah, that's just something that I experienced differently in the Netherlands compared to the US. And I'm sure people in other countries just see it kind of strange how we handle our politics. Well, it now also seems to confuse foreigners about the US and our culture is sales tax. Now, if you see me, I'm in this grocery store with many prices around me, in particular the price here. It says 99 cents for this drink here. If I go and purchase this, it's not gonna be 99 cents. You know, the Netherlands, the price that I see, that's the price I'm paying for a product. But here, you have a price tag, but then you gotta add on top of that the sales tax. So this 99-cent bottle will probably come out to, I don't know, $1.29, $1.15. Let's check it out and see. All right, as you can see, my 99-cent drink ended up being $1.50. That's tax for you. One of the things that foreigners tend to comment on when it comes to American culture is the friendliness that we exhibit here in the US, especially within our customer service. You know, when you walk into a clothing store or a grocery store, you would expect to be greeted with a warm welcome, you know, hello, how are you? Or even when you go out to eat, you know, you can expect the waiter to come to you multiple times, check in on you, see how you're doing. And yeah, sometimes foreigners see that as pretty fake. They wonder why you're so friendly with someone you don't know. But for us as Americans, it's just normal. It's just part of our culture. For example, if you go out to a restaurant in the US, you can expect to be greeted like this.
Hi, welcome. How are we doing today?
Good, and you?
Good, thank you for asking. My name is Brittany. I'll be taking care of you.
Okay.
Can we get anything to drink right now to start off?
Yeah, can I have the Corona, please?
Corona, of
Yeah.
course. Can I see some ID?
Oh yeah, definitely. There you go.
Thank you. Alrighty, perfect.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then, do you want a water on the side by chance?
No, I'm okay.
No?
Corona's
Alrighty.
good.
And then, I believe for Corona, we only have bottle. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Alright,
Yeah.
I'll be back with some drinks and some bread, okay?
Okay, thank you so
Yeah.
much. Now, you probably also noticed something in that interaction. She asked me for ID, and that's because here in the US, the drinking age is 21 to be able to drink alcohol, and they're very, very strict with that out here. Actually, funny enough, a couple of days ago, I was out with some friends at a spot that was serving alcohol, and they literally kicked me out because I didn't have my wallet and ID on me. That's something very, very strange for me now that I live in the Netherlands, and I also have experience living in other places where, you know, the drinking age was 18, or they just didn't even care. You know, as long as you look like an adult, they're not even thinking about your ID. Here in the US, that's definitely a thing. All right, now I have my beer, and I want to talk about another point with American culture, and that's about how loud we are. I found myself many times in spaces abroad where I could just hear my own voice. Like after 10 seconds of talking, I'm like, oh wow, am I the only one talking here? And that's just because we talk so loud. When I'm abroad, I just know American right away because I can hear them before I even see them. We're just very loud people. Something else people find strange about American culture is how dependent we are on our cars. Here in the US, in most places, if you don't have a car, it's pretty hard to do your daily activities. Especially here in California, if you don't have a car, it's pretty easy to get left behind. In California, also if you're walking, yeah, that's also a pretty strange thing. Walking for your daily activities, I should say at least. Like if I imagine walking to the store or walking to a bus or anything how I do in the Netherlands, that'd be very weird for me. Now, something else that usually surprises or people find very strange about the US is the level of homelessness that we have in the country. And to highlight that, due to parking situations, I am driving and showing you guys this from my car. But right now I am on Skid Row here in Los Angeles. This is a notorious place here in LA, known for having homeless people, having these tents along in the streets. It's really insane when you look at it. You think of a country like the U.S., you would not imagine seeing stuff like this, but yes, this is also a reality here in this country. I'm now leaving the mall. It's a Sunday, and it was pretty packed here in the mall today. And in my opinion, most public spaces in the U.S. are pretty packed on the weekend. And I have a theory. The reason is because of the poor work-life balance that we experience in the U.S. Now, basically, during the week, people are just consumed. All right, that shot didn't really go how I planned on it. But as I was saying, I feel during the week, many Americans are just consumed with their work. And on the weekend, that's really the only time that they feel they can have leisure time to enjoy themselves. And I also feel like for many Americans, the weekend is truly their vacation time. Because standard in the U.S., at least I know when I was working out here in the U.S., standard vacation time was like 2 weeks within a year. And so that's very different, at least, for example, compared to European culture where it's standard to have multiple 2-week vacations within a year. And I know whenever I tell my mom that I have time off, she's always saying,
"So your boss let you take all those days off?"
Yeah, that's perfectly normal for me to take time off. My boss is very encouraging for me to have time off, and my coworkers as well. Okay, this next one I want to talk about is definitely one that's a heated topic within the U.S. And I know it's something that people outside of the U.S. love to talk about, and that's how we handle our healthcare system in the United States. You know, all I could say is that now that I've lived outside of the U.S. for a few years, I could definitely say it's quite insane the way our healthcare system is. You know, I've heard stories of people having $2,000 bills just for an ambulance ride, or people having mental health problems and having to be brought to the hospital and, you know, have doctor visits, and then they get hit with a fat bill because of that. And it's kind of crazy. It definitely gives off the impression that sometimes you have to think, do I want to prioritize my health or my wallet? And that's very strange. That's very strange. Now, something else considered pretty weird in the US is our obsession with white teeth. You know, in European countries in particular, having yellow teeth is not really considered a big thing, but in the US, we typically see that as like pretty unhygienic. White teeth is just the ideal thing to have. I get quite a few comments sometimes on my video like, are those your real teeth, or why are your teeth so white? But, you know, growing up as an American, for me this is just normal, but now I understand for other people around the world, it's not really so normal. What do you see here? For me as an American, I see January 2nd, 2022. For most people around the world, they see February 1st, 2022. That leads me to my next point about strange things in American culture. And that's how we write our dates. You know, I know when I first started meeting people from around the world, sometimes I would have debates on why our way makes more sense, but if I'm being honest, it makes more sense to go from the smallest unit to the biggest. So first day, then month, then year. Whereas in the US, we go from month, day, then year. But that's US culture for you. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed my little tour through American culture. Now it's time for me to board the plane and head back to the Netherlands, my second country. To the next video. Hello, hey, hey. Dank je. Hey, hello. Alles goed? Alles goed.